The galaxy had never known a soldier like her. Known only by her call sign, Iron Wraith, she moved through war zones like a shadow, leaving destruction in her wake. No one knew her real name, her face, or even her age. In the command rooms of starships and bases, her name alone was enough to make seasoned officers pause. Every mission she undertook ended with decisive victories that others believed impossible. Entire armies surrendered, enemy ships were destroyed, and her opponents were left with nothing but whispers and rumors of the human who seemed untouchable. Iron Wraith had been born on a small human colony on the edge of the galaxy, a world untouched by most conflicts. As a child, she showed a natural instinct for strategy and combat. Her parents noticed that she could predict the moves of animals, read the slightest changes in people's behavior, and act with precision beyond her years. The colonial authorities recognized her talents and recommended her for the galaxy's elite military programs. By the time she was a teenager, she was already part of special operations, performing missions no adult soldier could handle. Despite her age, she had mastered hand-to-hand combat, advanced piloting, and tactical strategies that were considered possible for humans. Her first major operation changed the course of the war in a disputed system. The enemy had fortified a planet thought impenetrable with massive armies, automated defense systems, and deadly planetary shields. Every attempt by other squads had failed. They were either killed or forced to retreat. When Iron Wraith's unit was deployed, they seemed doomed as well, but she approached the mission with calm focus. She studied the enemy's movements, analyzed the terrain, and found weaknesses in the defenses. Under her leadership, the unit penetrated the defenses silently. Within hours, the entire enemy force had surrendered. Commanders could not believe the speed and precision of her tactics. After that mission, her call sign spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Even allies whispered it with awe, while enemies feared it with dread. Despite her legendary status, Iron Wraith was rarely seen. She moved between battle zones and training stations without anyone knowing where she would appear next. She avoided fame and refused any official titles or recognition. Her orders were delivered through encrypted channels, and her presence on missions was often masked. Commanders often received reports of results before even meeting the operative responsible. This anonymity added to her legend. Some speculated that she had alien enhancements or secret technology. But those who knew her personally understood that it was pure human skill, honed to perfection. In one sector, a fleet of alien mercenaries had captured a critical human supply line. Their ships were fast, heavily armed, and nearly invisible to detection systems. The situation was dire. The human commanders debated their options, knowing that failure could cost thousands of lives. That's when Iron Wraith was assigned to the mission. Without a single word, she analyzed the situation, drew complex attack patterns, and executed a plan that seemed impossible. Using stealth maneuvers, feints, and rapid strikes, she dismantled the enemy fleet piece by piece. Her tactics were so unpredictable that the enemy could not respond. By the time the humans regained control, the enemy forces were shattered, their leaders captured, and the supply line secured. The victory was celebrated across colonies, but Iron Wraith disappeared before anyone could meet her. Outside of combat, she appeared to be just another human. On a quiet colony, she would walk among civilians, blending into the crowd. People passed by her without a second glance, unaware that a galactic legend was among them. She went to markets, rode public transports, and visited training academies. She watched and learned, absorbing the small details of human life that were often ignored in battle. Her ability to live among ordinary people was part of her strategy. By understanding humanity, she could predict behavior on the battlefield with uncanny accuracy. At one academy, she was assigned as a trainee under a standard cadet profile. Her peers assumed she was inexperienced, sometimes even clumsy. They laughed at her mistakes, unaware that every movement she made was calculated and precise. She studied their habits, their strengths, and weaknesses, noting the patterns that others overlooked. Even during drills, she performed with quiet competence, never seeking attention, but always outperforming expectations when it mattered. Her instructors noticed her skill, but without knowing her background. they could not place her extraordinary abilities. For Iron Wraith, this was normal. To be invisible while being unstoppable was her greatest weapon. Her dual life was not without challenges. On one hand, she carried the weight of legendary responsibilities, expected to save entire systems with her skills. On the other hand, she had to navigate everyday human interactions without revealing her true identity. She learned to smile when others laughed at her, to nod and appear uncertain, and to play the part of a normal cadet. It was a delicate balance, requiring patience, self-control, and discipline beyond that of an ordinary person. The galaxy outside was not static. Wars raged between human colonies and alien coalitions. Political tensions escalated, and secret organizations plotted in the shadows. In every crisis, Iron Wraith's interventions were swift and decisive. No technology, no alien weapon, no superior numbers could stand against her human ingenuity. Commanders began to rely on her in situations deemed hopeless. Her name became synonymous with hope for humans and terror for their enemies. Yet, despite all this, she remained a mystery. Few had seen her face, and none knew her story. Legends grew faster than facts, creating myths that often exaggerated her abilities. Yet even the myths could not capture the full extent of her talent. In her downtime, she reflected on her journey. The missions, the victories, the enemies vanquished, they were all part of a larger purpose. She understood that human potential was underestimated across the galaxy. Aliens and even advanced AI often assumed humans were weak, slow, or predictable. She had spent her life proving them wrong. Each battle, each mission, was a statement. Humans were resourceful, courageous, and capable of greatness. Her existence was a message, a living example of human strength in a galaxy that often doubted it. One evening, on a quiet outpost far from the front lines, she sat alone in a small room overlooking the stars. The distant lights of ships moving in formation reminded her of the constant struggle humanity faced. She knew the galaxy was full of danger, but she also knew that humans had the ability to rise above it. Her mind replayed past missions, the decisions made in seconds, the lives saved, the victories won. Every choice reinforced her belief that humans, when pushed to their limits, could accomplish the impossible. She was both a weapon and a symbol. A living proof that human ingenuity and courage could defy expectations. Her thoughts were interrupted by a communication alert. A new threat had emerged in a distant sector. Enemy ships had attacked a critical human outpost, and the situation was deteriorating rapidly. Commanders were desperate, and the galaxy held its breath. Without hesitation, Iron Wraith began preparations. She reviewed intelligence reports, calculated strategies, and coordinated with distant units. Within minutes, a plan formed in her mind, a plan that would turn the tide before reinforcements could even arrive. Her focus was absolute, her determination unshakable. For her, this was not just another mission. It was a chance to reaffirm what humanity could achieve. As she boarded her ship, the quiet hum of the engines seemed almost soothing. She thrived in these moments, the calm before the storm, the space between decisions, the instant where action became inevitable. The galaxy did not know her, yet she carried its hopes on her shoulders. Iron Wraith, the invisible warrior, the legend whose call sign struck fear across star systems. Prepared to once again remind everyone why humans should never be underestimated. Even in the midst of chaos, she found clarity. Every move, every decision, every maneuver was deliberate. She thought like a human but acted with the precision of something more. Aliens who had faced her often believed she had some unnatural advantage, some hidden technology. In truth, it was her understanding of human nature, her observation of patterns, and her ability to adapt that made her unstoppable. She knew the galaxy underestimated humans because they had never seen one like her, and until the end of her missions, she intended to keep proving them wrong. The stars stretched before her, endless and indifferent. Yet in that vast expanse, she saw opportunity, challenge, and purpose. Iron Wraith, a name whispered in fear and awe, prepared to enter another war zone, ready to execute a plan that would change the course of the conflict. Her identity remained a mystery, but her actions spoke louder than any words. Humans were underestimated, dismissed, and doubted. And she, a human among billions, was about to show the galaxy the true extent of human power. In the quiet of her ship, she allowed herself a brief moment of reflection. Each mission, each victory, was a testament to what humans could achieve when pushed beyond limits. She had become more than a Saldi. She had become a symbol of hope, a figure whose presence could inspire allies and intimidate enemies. And yet she remained human, vulnerable in ways the galaxy could not see, grounded by emotions, memories, and the desire to prove her people's worth. Her journey was far from over, and the galaxy would continue to test her limits. But Iron Wraith was ready. Always ready. As the ship accelerated toward the sector in crisis, the stars outside blurred into streaks of light. The galaxy waited, unaware that its most formidable protector, a human with unmatched skill and unwavering resolve, was on her way. In every heart that feared her, in every mind that doubted her, a legend was growing. An Iron Wraith, the invisible warrior, embraced her role, knowing that her story was only beginning, and that humanity's potential would shine through her actions. Striking fear and hope in equal measure across the stars, Iron Wraith had returned to a training academy disguised as a normal cadet. To her peers, she seemed quiet, awkward, and inexperienced. No one suspected that she was the galaxy's most feared human warrior. She moved carefully through the halls, observing, listening, and learning. Every gesture of her classmates, every pattern of their conversations, every reaction in training drills was data she silently collected. While others saw her as clumsy, she was quietly analyzing, planning, improving her abilities even further. Her instructors were impressed, though puzzled. Her abilities were subtle, but when observed closely, they were exceptional. She could anticipate movements before they happened, react faster than expected, and make decisions with clarity beyond her apparent age. Yet she remained calm and unobtrusive, never drawing attention. For Iron Wraith, the academy was another battlefield, one without weapons, but with strategy and observation. She learned not just combat skills, but human interactions, understanding how people reacted under pressure and how fear, overconfidence, and doubt affected decision-making. One day, a group exercise tested cadets' teamwork. The mission involved navigating a complex obstacle course designed to simulate urban combat. The cadets were divided into squads, each assigned to complete objectives under time pressure. Her squad underestimated her, assigning her minor roles and ignoring her suggestions. Iron Wraith quietly observed, taking mental notes of each teammate's strengths and weaknesses. When the exercise began, chaos erupted. Cadets struggled with obstacles, failed to communicate effectively, and made poor tactical decisions. Iron Wraith took control subtly, redirecting her teammates with brief instructions and leading by example. She executed maneuvers so smoothly that the squad seemed coordinated without anyone realizing it was her guidance. They completed the mission ahead of schedule, impressing instructors. Though the squad members themselves did not fully understand how they had succeeded, Iron Wraith allowed them to believe it was luck or teamwork, preserving her secrecy. Outside training, life at the academy was a challenge of its own. Cadets formed cliques, competed for recognition, and often judged one another harshly. Iron Wraith moved quietly among them, blending into the background. She learned the social dynamics, discovering how alliances were formed, how jealousy influenced actions, and how fear could manipulate decisions. These lessons were not taught in manuals, but were crucial for understanding human behavior, something she relied upon during missions. The academy was not only a place for humans. Cadets from other species attended, bringing unique abilities and cultural perspectives. Iron Wraith observed them carefully, noting the differences in communication, body language, and tactics. She learned to predict actions, even from species with vastly different instincts. Her understanding of these nuances gave her a unique advantage. When combined with her human intuition, she could anticipate scenarios that even AI could not. One evening, an unexpected threat arrived. A simulation of a hostile alien boarding party went wrong when the training AI malfunctioned. The simulated attackers became aggressive beyond protocol, endangering cadets in the exercise. Panic spread as alarms blared, and instructors tried to regain control. Iron Wraith reacted instinctively. She moved with speed and precision, guiding cadets to safety, neutralizing the AI threat, and stabilizing the scenario. Her actions were calm, decisive, and effective, leaving instructors stunned. They could not explain how one cadet had managed to control the situation so efficiently. To her peers, it appeared almost supernatural. Despite the praise, Iron Wraith remained humble, never seeking recognition. She understood that her greatest strength was anonymity. The galaxy feared her because she was unpredictable, because no one knew who she really was. At the Academy, she maintained the same philosophy. She let others underestimate her, learning from their mistakes and observing their skills. This patience was part of her strategy. A true warrior did not show all their strength at once. Over time, some cadets began to notice unusual patterns. She reacted faster, anticipated moves, and seemed to know outcomes before events unfolded. Rumors spread quietly, though no one could explain why. Some assumed she was exceptionally lucky. Others whispered about secret training or alien technology. Iron Wraith neither confirmed nor denied anything. She simply continued to learn, grow, and prepare for the inevitable challenges beyond the Academy. Meanwhile, the galaxy outside remained volatile. Wars continued, colonies were threatened, and alien factions tested human defenses constantly. Intelligence reports occasionally mentioned her Iron Wrath appearing suddenly, dismantling enemy forces, and vanishing without a trace. Each story inspired hope for humans and fear for their adversaries. Her legend was growing, but she remained untouchable and unknown. This dual existence, legendary warrior and invisible. Kata was both a burden and a gift. The Academy environment also gave her insight into potential allies. She observed cadets with rare skills, high adaptability, and courage, while most were unaware of their potential. Iron Wraith recognized those who could be influential in the galaxy's future conflicts. She began mentoring subtly, sharing advice disguised as casual conversation or encouragement. Her guidance strengthened others without revealing her full capabilities. She understood that humans worked best when inspired rather than controlled. One critical exercise involved simulated planetary defense. Cadets were assigned roles defending a civilian colony from an invading fleet. Iron Wraith's squad was initially given the least strategic positions, and the commanding cadet ignored her suggestions. As the exercise progressed, it became apparent that the assigned strategy was flawed. Enemy units advanced, and other squads struggled to hold positions. Iron Wraith calmly reassessed the situation, signaling changes discreetly. She repositioned cadets, adjusted tactics, and optimized their movements. By the end, her squad not only defended the colony, but repelled the simulation's forces entirely. Observers were astonished, instructors were baffled, and her peers could only watch in awe. Still unaware of the true depth of her abilities, her life at the Academy was not without personal reflection. She often questioned the balance between anonymity and responsibility. She could change the course of wars, yet here she was, appearing powerless and ordinary. These moments of quiet introspection strengthened her resolve. She knew that her time in the Academy was crucial for understanding human limits, both physically and psychologically. The galaxy underestimated humans constantly. She was preparing to prove them wrong in ways they could never anticipate. Relationships at the Academy were complex. Some cadets tried to befriend her, drawn by her quiet confidence. Others were suspicious, sensing something different about her. Iron Wraith handled these interactions carefully, building trust when needed and keeping distance when necessary. She observed emotions, motivations, and vulnerabilities, not out of malice, but for understanding. Empathy was part of her strength. It allowed her to anticipate reactions, build alliances, and maneuver through both social and combat scenarios with ease. During her time at the Academy, she also faced challenges from other cadets who were exceptionally skilled. They tested her during drills, attempting to expose her weaknesses or outshine her. Iron Wraith met these challenges with composure. She adapted, countered, and learned from each encounter. While she could have easily dominated, she chose subtlety. allowing her peers to feel they had succeeded while she retained the advantage. This strategy taught her patience, humility, the value of observation. Occasionally, she received updates from ongoing conflicts in the galaxy. Commanders requested her intervention in critical missions, and intelligence reports reminded her of the stakes. These communications were brief but essential. They served as reminders that the Academy was a temporary environment, and that her true purpose extended far beyond its walls. Every day she spent learning and blending in prepared her for the next appearance in the galaxy's most dangerous theaters. The duality of her existence sharpened her abilities. In battle, she was decisive, relentless, and feared. At the Academy, she was quiet, observant, and underestimated. This combination made her unpredictable and powerful. Enemies could not anticipate her moves, and allies could not fully understand her methods. She existed between two worlds, human and legend, learning and acting, observing and executing. One late night, after drills had ended and most cadets were asleep, Iron Wraith trained alone in the simulation arena. She ran scenarios repeatedly, testing strategies, predicting enemy responses, and refining techniques. Her mind worked constantly, never at rest, always seeking improvement. While others slept, she prepared, knowing that the galaxy could demand her skills at any moment. Each exercise, though mundane to some, was a rehearsal for real conflict, a chance to push the boundaries of human potential. Her reputation, though unknown to her peers at the Academy, grew steadily in the galaxy. Reports of Iron Wraith striking fear into enemy fleets, dismantling mercenary operations, and winning impossible battles circulated quickly. Aliens and humans alike began to treat her name with respect and caution. Even those who had never met her feared the unpredictability and precision she brought. For Iron Wraith, these stories were reminders of why anonymity was crucial. The legend was powerful, but the true power was in her skill and judgment. Through all this, she remained grounded. She never let fame, fear, or power cloud her judgment. Every mission, every exercise, every observation was part of a greater understanding of human potential. She was patient, methodical, and deliberate. Her calm demeanor and calculated approach made her both a mentor and a mystery. She inspired without knowing it, influenced without intending to, and shaped the galaxy's perception of humans through her actions rather than words. As the second part of her journey concluded, Iron Wraith understood the importance of this phase of her life. The Academy was not just a place for learning combat skills. It was a laboratory for understanding human behavior, psychology, and leadership. She blended in seamlessly, learning without revealing, growing without exposure, and preparing for the challenges that awaited beyond the Academy. She was, in every sense, a human warrior unlike any other, ready to step into the galaxy and prove that humanity's strength was more than physical might, was ingenuity, strategy, and unyielding resolve. Iron Wraith's time at the Academy would soon reach a turning point. The galaxy's conflicts were escalating, and her skills would be called upon. But for now, she remained in the shadows, a quiet cadet among many. A silent observer, preparing for the moment when the legend she was building would have to act. Her dual existence, legendary warrior and unassuming student, was a delicate balance. But it was the key to her effectiveness. She moved forward with patience, determination, and unwavering focus, ready for the moment when the galaxy would again need the human who could turn the tide of wars with nothing but skill, strategy, and courage. The galaxy was in turmoil. Alien mercenary fleets were attacking human colonies across multiple sectors, and the High Command knew only one operative could handle the situation. Iron Wraith, the name whispered with fear and awe, had been summoned again. She had been training and observing at the Academy, but her reputation preceded her even there. Commanders provided her with minimal instructions, trusting her judgment entirely. The mission was simple to them: neutralize the threat, protect human lives, and return unseen. For Iron Wraith, it was another puzzle to solve, another opportunity to prove human potential on the galactic stage. Her ship slipped through space with near invisibility, avoiding detection by enemy sensors. She analyzed incoming reports, plotting the positions of mercenary vessels and predicting their likely strategies. She noticed patterns that others had missed. The enemy relied on brute force and speed but lacked coordination. That flaw, she realized, could be exploited. Her mind raced, calculating approaches, escape routes, and timing with precision that was almost mechanical, yet entirely human. She would strike where the enemy least expected, using speed, surprise, ingenuity as her weapons. Upon arrival, Iron Wraith assessed the battlefield. The mercenary fleet surrounded a critical human supply station. Their ships formed tight formations, armed with advanced weaponry and ready to obliterate the station. Iron Wraith studied the fleet, noting weak points in their defenses. She initiated a stealth approach, guiding her small strike craft through blind spots and enemy patrols. Even the most sophisticated alien sensors did not detect her movements. She moved like a shadow, invisible and untouchable, the embodiment of her call sign. The first engagement began unexpectedly. A patrol ship detected a blip on its sensors and moved to intercept. Iron Wraith reacted instantly, maneuvering her ship with agility that defied expectations. She disabled the patrol ship's engines, leaving it stranded, then used its position to mislead the rest of the fleet. Enemy officers were confused, issuing commands based on incomplete data, unaware that the true threat was already among them. Her tactics were unpredictable, her strategy flawless, and her timing perfect. As the battle escalated, Iron Wraith deployed small attack drones, each programmed with complex patterns and controlled with near telepathic precision. The drones overwhelmed enemy defenses, striking multiple targets simultaneously. Enemy commanders attempted to reorganize, but she had anticipated every move. Ships collided, shields failed, and chaos spread through the mercenary fleet. Human forces observed in awe as the tide of battle turned seemingly without effort, guided by an unseen hand. On the ground, human soldiers in the supply station were inspired by what they could not fully see. Reports described the destruction of enemy ships, the precision of the attacks, and the sudden disappearance of threats. To the soldiers, it felt as if a guardian angel had intervened. Iron Wraith's presence was invisible, yet her influence tangible. Her tactics allowed the humans to hold the station with minimal casualties, proving again that human strategy and ingenuity could triumph over overwhelming odds. During the battle, Iron Wraith intercepted communications between enemy ships. She learned of their plans and adjusted her strategy accordingly. When a heavily armed cruiser attempted to flank the station, she maneuvered her craft to block its path, forcing it into a trap that destroyed its main weapon systems. Every decision was deliberate, every action calculated. She moved swiftly, adapting to new threats and exploiting weaknesses with ease. Her human instincts, combined with her rigorous training, allowed her to outperform both alien technology and human expectations. By the time the battle concluded, the mercenary fleet was in ruins. Many ships had been destroyed, others captured, and the surviving enemies retreated in disarray. Human commanders could hardly comprehend what had occurred. Reports credited Iron Wraith, though her true identity remained a mystery. Some officers speculated about her abilities, imagining advanced alien implants or secret technology. Few guessed the truth. She was entirely human, a warrior whose mind and skill were honed to perfection. After securing the supply station, Iron Wraith moved swiftly to ensure no remnants of the mercenary force could regroup. She coordinated extraction operations, guided reinforcements to strategic positions, and neutralized hidden threats. Every action reinforced the human presence, ensuring that the colonies would remain safe. Her efficiency and foresight prevented further losses and demonstrated the power of a single individual acting with intelligence, precision, and courage. Once the mission was complete, she vanished before anyone could approach her. Reports circulated about the mysterious warrior who had appeared, saved countless lives, and disappeared without a trace. Her call sign, Iron Wraith, was repeated with reverence and fear throughout human command networks and alien intelligence channels alike. Legends grew, each retelling adding to the mythos surrounding her name. The galaxy began to understand that she was not just a soldier, She was a symbol of human ingenuity and perseverance. Back at the academy, Iron Wraith returned to her quiet routine. To her peers, she was still the unassuming cadet, seemingly ordinary, occasionally awkward, and often underestimated. The duality of her life continued: feared warrior in the galaxy, invisible student on the academy floors. She navigated both worlds with patience and skill, serving the cadets, learning from them, and subtly guiding those who showed promise. Her presence influenced the academy without anyone fully realizing why. Despite her victories, she remained humble. Her focus was not on fame or recognition, but on mastering her craft and pushing the limits of human potential. Each mission was a challenge to her skills and a test of human ingenuity. She knew that the galaxy would continue to face threats, and her role as a protector required constant vigilance, adaptability, and creativity. She prepared for the next engagement quietly, sharpening her mind and refining her strategies. The academy provided her with opportunities to practice subtle leadership. When group exercises were assigned, she would guide her peers discreetly, ensuring success while keeping her own abilities hidden. Cadets often praised luck or teamwork, unaware that her guidance had been decisive. Iron Wraith understood that influence could be more powerful than overt action. By teaching others indirectly, she amplified human potential and prepared the next generation for challenges they could not yet imagine. In her private moments, she reflected on the balance between anonymity and responsibility. She understood that her true strength lay not only in skill and intelligence, but in the ability to operate with recognition. The galaxy feared her because she was unpredictable, and she carefully preserved that mystery. Every mission reinforced the lesson: humans could achieve greatness. Often underestimated by others, and her actions were proof as new intelligence reports arrived. Detailing emerging conflicts and threats, she analyzed them meticulously. Each report was another puzzle, another opportunity to apply her unique perspective. Her ability to process information, predict outcomes, and execute strategies with precision allowed her to address crises swiftly and effectively. Human forces relied on her not just for combat prowess, but for insight and guidance, making her a strategic asset beyond measure in the quiet moments between missions. She observed cadets and civilians alike, studying human behavior and understanding motivations. Her empathy and insight into emotions allowed her to anticipate reactions and influence outcomes subtly. She built trust without revealing her full abilities. Her understanding of psychology enhanced her effectiveness both in and out of combat. Iron Wraith's approach demonstrated that true power came not only from strength and skill, but from understanding and adapting to the complexities of life and strategy. One day, a rival cadet attempted to challenge her during a complex exercise. The goal was to capture a simulated control center defended by automated systems. The rival, unaware of Iron Wraith's true capabilities, attempted direct confrontation. She assessed the situation, predicted his moves, and countered strategically. By the end, the control center was secured efficiently, and the rival was left bewildered. To others, it seemed as though she had succeeded effortlessly, reinforcing the mystery that surrounded her. Through these experiences, Iron Wraith honed her ability to operate under multiple layers of pressure. She balanced her legendary reputation with the necessity of remaining unseen, all while influencing outcomes and preparing others for future challenges. Her dual existence allowed her to act as both guardian and mentor, warrior and observer, legend and human. This balance was crucial to her ongoing success and to the inspiration she provided to humans across the galaxy. The galaxy's conflicts continued to escalate, but Iron Wraith remained a constant presence. Her actions demonstrated that humans were capable of extraordinary feats when guided by intelligence, strategy, and courage. She became a symbol of hope for human colonies and a warning to enemies who underestimated them. Her call sign resonated across systems, carrying with it the lessons of her experience and the promise of human ingenuity as she prepared for the next engagement. She reflected on the lessons learned from both battle and academy life. Observation, patience, and subtle influence were as important as combat skill. Leadership could be quiet, strategic, and indirect. Every interaction, every decision, and every action contributed to a larger picture of human potential. Iron Wraith embodied these principles, demonstrating that one individual, armed with skill, intelligence, and foresight, could alter the course of conflicts and inspire generations. The galaxy awaited the next chapter of her story. The legend of Iron Wraith grew with every mission. And even as she returned to her quiet existence at the Academy, her influence spread. The combination of visible heroics and hidden mentorship created a legacy that would endure. Her presence reminded the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated, that ingenuity and courage could overcome overwhelming odds, and that one determined individual could change the fate of many. As stars streaked past her ship, en route to the next threat, Iron Wraith felt the weight of responsibility, but also the clarity of purpose. Every battle, every training session, every observation reinforced her commitment to humanity and its potential. She was ready for the challenges ahead, prepared to act with precision, and determined to ensure that the galaxy recognized the power of humans. In every corner of space, her name carried fear, respect, and inspiration. Yet she remained unknown, unseen. An invisible force shaping the galaxy one mission at a time, life at the Academy continued quietly. But tensions were rising both within and beyond its walls. Iron Wraith maintained her calm, observing her peers while continuing to refine her skills. Though she was invisible to most, a few cadets began to notice her unusual precision and insight. She moved through drills with subtle dominance, always ahead in thinking, never revealing her true potential. Those who tried to challenge her often found themselves outmaneuvered before they even realized. The situation had changed. One day, an elite cadet from another species arrived at the Academy. They were confident, skilled, and had an air of arrogance that demanded attention. Many cadets assumed they were unbeatable, a star pupil meant to set new standards. Iron Wraith observed silently, noting not just the elite cadets' skills, but also their weaknesses, their impatience, overconfidence, and tendency to underestimate humans. She began to plan not for confrontation, but for a demonstration of subtle superiority, showing that intelligence and strategy could triumph over raw talent. During a training exercise simulating a hostile boarding scenario, the elite cadet attempted to dominate the simulation with brute force. Iron Wraith moved quietly, guiding her team with precision. She anticipated every move, redirecting the flow of action so that obstacles were avoided and objectives achieved efficiently. By the end, her team succeeded flawlessly, and the elite cadet was left frustrated and confused. Observers praised luck or minor tactics, never suspecting the hidden influence behind the operation. Iron Wraith remained unassuming, her true abilities still a secret, yet her reputation in subtle whispers began to grow. Outside of training, life at the Academy provided challenges that were more social than tactical. Cadets formed alliances, competed for attention, and sometimes manipulated others to gain advantage. Iron Wraith navigated these dynamics carefully. She listened more than she spoke, observed rather than interfered, and acted with precision when necessary. Her empathy and insight allowed her to understand motivations and predict reactions. She used this knowledge not to dominate, but to guide outcomes, subtly steering events in ways that reinforced human potential and efficiency. Meanwhile, the galaxy continued to face crises. Reports came in of an aggressive alien fleet advancing toward a key human colony. Commanders debated strategies, many suggesting large-scale deployments that risked heavy losses. Iron Wraith, even in her Academy guise, analyzed the information carefully. She noted patterns in enemy movement, predicting weaknesses that others had overlooked. The High Command discreetly requested her involvement, aware that conventional tactics would likely fail without her intervention. Her dual life allowed her to transition seamlessly from quiet observer to active strategist, preparing for action while maintaining the illusion of anonymity. In preparation, she trained relentlessly. Simulation exercises were run repeatedly, testing every potential scenario. She coordinated with cadets, using them as proxies to predict reactions and improve strategies. Each session honed her reflexes, decision-making, and ability to anticipate enemy tactics. Though her peers saw simple practice, Iron Wraith was building a mental map of possibilities, ready to execute complex strategies when real threats emerged. Her discipline, focus, and patience were unmatched. Traits that made her both a formidable operative and a mentor without overt recognition. The moment of action arrived when intelligence confirmed the alien fleet's advance. Human forces mobilized, but the threat was formidable, and losses were expected without precise intervention. Iron Wraith took command of a small, specialized strike team. It's invisible to enemy sensors and capable of rapid surgical strikes. She analyzed the battlefield, deploying units strategically, predicting enemy responses, and using misdirection to create openings. Her approach was not brute force, but intelligence, precision, and anticipation. The enemy, confident in their superior numbers, was unprepared for her tactics. She led the assault on critical enemy positions, neutralizing key vessels and communication nodes. Her team moved with efficiency, guided by her foresight and instructions. Enemy officers struggled to respond, their formations collapsing under her calculated maneuvers. Human forces, inspired by unexpected advantages, pressed forward with confidence, securing strategic points without the heavy casualties predicted. Iron Wraith remained largely unseen, her presence felt only through results. The alien fleet, caught off guard, was forced into retreat. Leaving humans in control of the contested sector, the success reinforced her legend. Across command networks, the story of a hidden human warrior spread rapidly. Her callsign, Iron Wraith, was mentioned with both awe and fear. While stories exaggerated some aspects, the core truth remained. She was an unparalleled strategist and combatant, fully human, yet extraordinary in every way. Her anonymity, a conscious choice, ensured that her influence extended beyond direct observation. The galaxy speculated about her abilities, but only she knew the depth of preparation, insight, human ingenuity that made her unstoppable. Returning to the academy, she resumed her unassuming role. Cadets who had begun to suspect her capabilities were now more attentive, attempting to learn from her subtle guidance. Wraith allowed them to think they had made discoveries on their own. Preserving her anonymity while still influencing outcomes, she observed their progress, noting potential future allies, strategists, and leaders. Her mentorship was indirect but effective, strengthening the human presence and preparing the next generation for challenges ahead. Her dual existence demanded constant awareness. She balanced the pressure of active conflict with the subtleties of academy life. In one instance, a cadet discovered an unusual pattern in her behavior, attempting to confront her about it. Iron Wraith responded with calm clarity, offering guidance that seemed casual and helpful. The cadet left with admiration, but without suspicion of her true identity. These interactions were lessons in human psychology, reinforcing her understanding of influence, perception, and leadership. The Academy also became a space for reflection. Iron Wraith considered her past missions, the lives saved, and the potential of humanity she had witnessed. She realized that her actions were more than tactical victories. They were demonstrations of what humans could achieve when intelligence, courage, and strategy were combined. Each mission validated the idea that humans were underestimated, often dismissed by alien factions and even AI systems. Her life's work was a testament to human potential in the galaxy. Unexpected challenges arose when political tensions within the Academy escalated. Cadets from rival factions attempted to manipulate exercises and create conflicts for advantage. Iron Wraith observed quietly, identifying the true motives behind actions and predicting the consequences of each choice. She intervened subtly, redirecting situations to prevent unnecessary harm and maintain balance. Her approach reinforced the importance of foresight, patience, and strategy in both combat and human interactions. Lessons learned here would translate directly to her next mission in the wider galaxy. One particular exercise tested her adaptability. A simulation involved defending a civilian settlement under siege from both internal and external threats. Multiple variables were introduced, including unpredictable cadet behavior, environmental hazards, and resource limitations. Iron Wraith assessed the scenario, developing a strategy that accounted for every factor. She guided cadets through the exercise, not by commanding overtly, but by providing subtle cues and positioning. By the conclusion, the settlement was defended effectively. The cadets had learned critical lessons, and Iron Wraith remained unnoticed as the guiding force. Her influence was profound, yet invisible. During moments of solitude, she contemplated the broader implications of her dual existence. Operating as both a legend and a student allowed her to understand the complexities of human perception, communication, and potential. She could inspire, teach, and protect without revealing herself. This strategy ensured that humans retained agency while benefiting from her guidance. It also allowed her to study human behavior, building insights that would inform future missions and strategic decisions across the galaxy. Her reputation continued to grow, with intelligence reports documenting the mysterious interventions of Iron Wraith. Enemy forces hesitated, unsure where or when she might strike. Human commanders adjusted strategies, knowing that her involvement could turn impossible scenarios into victories. Her effectiveness stemmed not from raw power alone, but from observation, anticipation, and subtle influence. Each mission reinforced the narrative that humans were more capable than many factions believed. As the Academy prepared for the end of the cycle, Iron Wraith reflected on the skills she had honed. Patience, observation, strategy, and empathy were as crucial as combat skill. Her dual identity allowed her to cultivate these qualities in a controlled environment. Preparing her for the unpredictable chaos of real conflicts, the Academy had become a proving ground not only for her abilities, but also for her understanding of human nature. She was, in every sense, human warrior uniquely prepared to face the galaxy's challenges when another threat emerged in a nearby sector. Iron Wraith was called upon once again. She transitioned seamlessly from quiet cadet to commanding strategist. Enemy fleets underestimated her, assuming she was another human operative of ordinary skill. They did not realize that she had analyzed their tactics, anticipated their moves, and prepared for contingencies they could not imagine. As she engaged the enemy, her subtle yet decisive actions again turned the tide of battle, demonstrating the enduring power of intelligence, preparation, and human ingenuity. Her dual life, balancing invisibility and impact, became more refined with each mission and training exercise. She influenced outcomes without recognition, prepared others without revealing her full abilities. It continued to exemplify the potential of humans in a galaxy that often overlooked them. Her call sign, Iron Wraith, symbolized not only fear and legend, but also hope, strategy, and the limitless capabilities of human intellect and courage. Even after returning to the Academy, she remained vigilant. She continued to observe, mentor indirectly, and refine her own skills. Each interaction, exercise, and reflection contributed to a broader understanding of both human behavior and galactic strategy. Iron Wraith knew that her time in the Academy was not just preparation, but an essential component of her ongoing mission to demonstrate what humans could accomplish when intelligence, courage, and ingenuity were combined. As the stars outside the Academy glimmered, Iron Wraith prepared for future challenges. Her dual existence, her quiet mentorship, and her legendary interventions ensured that humans were never underestimated. Across the galaxy, the legend grew, and her influence spread silently. She remained unseen, yet indispensable, a symbol of human potential, a strategist, and a warrior ready to strike where the galaxy least expected. Proving time and again that humans could achieve the impossible, the galaxy was tense. Multiple systems were on high alert, fearing an imminent invasion by a coalition of alien mercenaries. Intelligence reports predicted heavy casualties, and human commanders debated strategies, but there was little consensus. The High Command, in desperation, turned once again to the legend Iron Wraith. Her call sign alone had become a symbol of hope and fear. Though few knew her identity, her impact was undeniable. It was the final test of her abilities, the mission that would solidify her legacy across the galaxy, Iron Wraith studied the incoming intelligence carefully. Enemy movements were aggressive and unpredictable. Their fleet was larger and more advanced than any she had faced, yet she noticed flaws in their approach. They relied on rigid formations and predictable attack patterns, unaware of the adaptive strategies that a human could employ. Her mind worked methodically, calculating scenarios, predicting reactions, and preparing contingencies. She would not only defend the human colonies, but also demonstrate the power of human ingenuity against overwhelming odds. As she boarded her strike craft, she reviewed every detail meticulously. Each weapon system, navigation route, and potential ambush point was considered. Her team, small yet highly skilled, trusted her implicitly, though none fully understood the extent of her capabilities. She gave concise, clear instructions, allowing their individual strengths to amplify the overall effectiveness. Her leadership was subtle yet absolute. She guided without dominating, allowed initiative but controlled outcomes. This balance of autonomy and strategy was one of her greatest strengths. The fleet engaged in deep space. The void filled with the hum of engines and distant energy bursts. Enemy vessels moved aggressively, attempting to force the human fleet into predictable maneuvers. Iron Wraith anticipated each movement, deploying small strike teams to exploit gaps, disrupt formations, and mislead enemy commanders. Her tactics were not brute force but intelligence, precision, and patience. Each strike was carefully calculated to maximize impact while minimizing risk to human forces. During the engagement, enemy commanders attempted flanking maneuvers, thinking to catch the humans off guard. Iron Wraith predicted this and set a counter-trap, guiding her team into positions that neutralized the threat while creating openings for a decisive strike. Enemy ships were disabled, their formations collapsed, and panic began to spread among their ranks. Her ability to anticipate and adapt to predict human and alien responses alike demonstrated why her call sign struck fear across the galaxy while directing the battle. Iron Wraith also maintained communication with ground forces. Human colonies under threat received precise instructions, allowing them to fortify key points, evacuate civilians, and resist incursions effectively. Her guidance transformed chaos into controlled action. Though she remained largely unseen, her influence was profound, orchestrating both space and ground operations with unmatched efficiency. The human forces, inspired by coordinated success, fought with renewed determination. As the battle intensified, she faced direct confrontation from an enemy flagship. The vessel was heavily armed, supported by elite mercenary units, and commanded by a tactical genius. Iron Wraith analyzed the situation quickly, recognizing that direct engagement would be costly. She devised a plan using diversionary tactics, electronic interference, and targeted strikes. Her team executed flawlessly, disabling the flagship's key systems, forcing the enemy to retreat and securing victory without unnecessary loss. The maneuver highlighted her ability to turn overwhelming threats into manageable scenarios through strategy and foresight. Meanwhile, she monitored other sectors, adjusting deployments as new threats emerged. Her awareness of human and alien tactics allowed her to maintain advantage at every turn. When an enemy squad attempted a stealth assault on a civilian station, she predicted the approach, redeployed defense units, and neutralized the attack before it could escalate. Every decision reinforced the effectiveness of human intellect, discipline, and adaptability in the face of superior technology and numbers. Despite the intensity of the mission, Iron Wraith maintained composure. Her focus was absolute, her mind clear. She understood that fear and overreaction could jeopardize everything. She moved with calm precision, coordinating multiple elements, predicting reactions, ensuring that outcomes aligned with her strategic objectives. Her human intuition, honed through years of experience and observation, allowed her to navigate complex situations where even advanced AI could struggle. After hours of relentless engagement, the alien coalition was in retreat. Human forces held key positions, casualties were minimal compared to projections, and the colonies were secure. Reports flooded command centers detailing the astonishing success. Observers credited the victory to the elusive Iron Wraith, though none could comprehend how one human could coordinate such an operation. Legends grew, with stories of her appearing out of nowhere, striking decisively and vanishing again, leaving only awe and fear behind. Back at the academy, she resumed her quiet existence. Cadets noticed subtle changes. Her experience had deepened, her insight sharpened, and her influence, though still hidden, was more pronounced. She continued to mentor indirectly, guiding promising cadets through subtle advice and observation. Her dual existence, legendary warrior and invisible student, remained intact, allowing her to continue influencing human potential while preparing for the next unforeseen crisis. Her reflection was profound. She had faced the galaxy's greatest threats, led forces to victory against overwhelming odds, and demonstrated the true power of human ingenuity. Yet she remained humble, knowing that her greatest achievement was not fame or recognition, but the proof that humans could rise above expectations. Every mission reinforced the lesson that intelligence, courage, and strategy could overcome any challenge, and her actions had inspired both humans and allies across the galaxy. The Academy provided her with ongoing opportunities to refine skills, both personal and interpersonal. Exercises became more complex, integrating simulations of political, social, and environmental challenges. Iron Wraith thrived in these scenarios, analyzing, predicting, and adapting. Her understanding of human behavior allowed her to guide outcomes subtly, turning potential failures into learning opportunities. She continued to build a quiet legacy, preparing the next generation of human leaders and strategists to face challenges that the galaxy might throw their way. One day, a cadet approached her, curious about her methods and insight. Iron Wraith shared advice without revealing the depth of her experience, framing her guidance as observation and reasoning. The cadet left inspired, unaware that the lessons had come from the galaxy's most feared human warrior. This interaction highlighted her philosophy: influence without direct control, mentorship without exposure, and leadership that empowered others to realize their potential. Her approach ensured that humans remained adaptable, intelligent, and resilient. The galaxy, meanwhile, continued to change. New threats emerged, old conflicts reignited, and unknown dangers lurked in uncharted space. Iron Wraith remained vigilant, ready to act whenever required. Her previous victories had established her as an unseen protector, a symbol of hope and a reminder that human potential could defy expectations. The legend of Iron Wraith inspired both awe and fear, creating a reputation that amplified her effectiveness. Enemies hesitated, allies strategized with confidence, and the galaxy slowly learned that humans could be formidable in ways they had never imagined. Throughout it all, she maintained balance. Her legendary interventions were complemented by her subtle influence at the Academy, creating a dual legacy that combined action with education. She was a silent guide, a hidden mentor, and a decisive warrior. Her effectiveness came not just from combat skill, but from understanding patterns, predicting behavior, and applying intelligence in every scenario. Her existence proved that one human, acting with discipline, foresight, and courage, could shape the outcome of conflicts and inspire generations. As she looked toward the stars from the Academy, she contemplated the journey that had brought her here. From a quiet cadet on a remote colony to a legendary warrior feared across systems, her path had been defined by observation, strategy, and human determination. She had faced impossible odds, led forces to victory, and maintained her anonymity, proving that humans could achieve extraordinary feats. The lessons she had learned, both in battle and in subtle mentorship, would continue to influence human development and strategy long into the future. The final mission at the current conflict had demonstrated the full extent of her abilities. The enemy had been defeated, human colonies secured, and the myth of Iron Wraith solidified. Yet she knew the galaxy was ever-changing. Her work was never complete. Each victory, while significant, was preparation for the challenges ahead. Her dual role allowed her to continue learning, adapting, and influencing outcomes, ensuring that humans would always remain capable of overcoming the most daunting threats. Iron Wraith's legacy was both visible and invisible. Her actions in battle created legends that inspired hope and fear across the galaxy. Her quiet guidance at the Academy prepared future leaders to face adversity with intelligence, courage, and resilience. She remained human in every sense, grounded by observation, reflection, and empathy, yet extraordinary in her ability to influence outcomes on a galactic scale. Her story was a testament to the power of the human spirit, the importance of strategy, and the unyielding potential of individuals to shape history as the stars stretched endlessly beyond her window. Iron Wraith, prepared for whatever challenges awaited. The galaxy might never know her face, her name, or her true story, but her impact was undeniable. In every victory, every life saved, and every lesson imparted, she had demonstrated the essence of human potential. The legend of Iron Wraith, invisible yet unstoppable, to endure, inspiring hope, fear, and admiration across the galaxy for generations to come. And through it all, she remained ready, observant, strategic, and ever vigilant, proving that humans underestimated and often dismissed could rise to extraordinary heights, change the tide of wars, and leave a lasting mark on the universe.